What's up, everybody? It's your boy J-Rod and welcome to the channel. So today's video, I want to be covering a story coming out of Medellin, Colombia. A man went on a guy's trip with one of his friends to Colombia, and during their stay in Colombia, they actually endured an explosion from a barbecue grill, causing the friend to pass away and the other guy to be stuck in the hospital in Colombia in critical condition as his family fights to get the money raised for him to be discharged so that way he can come back to the United States. So I kind of just want to share with you guys my commentary on the situation and what to do if you are put in a situation like this, and some tips to avoid these problems. So I'm going to go ahead and play the video. All right.
And only on CBS News Miami, a man from South Florida is hospitalized in Colombia after he was severely injured in an explosion. His family says more than half of his body was burned. Relatives are desperate to get him flown to Miami to get treatment at Jackson Memorial Hospital.
Well, they say he can't be discharged in Colombia until they pay up. CBS News Miami's Larry Seward explains.
We emailed the hospital in Medellin for answers, but did not get a response by our deadline. Meanwhile, the family of Michael Clark Jr. sounds desperate for help. Michael Eugene Clark Jr. is not shy. Family says he's the dad who always cheered his wife, 10 and 13-year-old children, and his Miami Dolphins until his latest trip to Colombia. He and two of his college buddies flew to Medellin for a guy's trip to celebrate a buddy's 40th birthday. They stayed in a friend's condo without trouble until Friday.
They were out on the balcony and they had like a gas fire pit or something like that, and somehow it exploded.
Michelle Asbury says one of the men died while flames burned over half of Michael's body. He has not spoken to them since.
My heart stopped, to be honest with you. This is my youngest brother, very close relationship, and it's just hard, dealing with when you can't reach a loved one that's out of the country and can't get to them as fast as you can.
Michael's wife, parents, and niece flew to be by his side.
He's wrapped like a mummy. He's literally wrapped from head to toe because he's burnt from head to toe. That first day, his head was pretty swollen. His lips was pretty big. It's just something you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy.
They want him flown to Jackson Memorial Hospital's burn unit for care in Miami, where they think he'll recover best. But Clark did not have travel insurance and will have to pay San Vicente Fundacion Hospital out of pocket.
We were told that he wouldn't be released until those bills were paid. So he has medical insurance. It's just that his medical insurance doesn't cover him in another country.
They are hoping for the best while scrambling to find money to pay for Clark's medical flight, too. The family says the hospital in Medellin got in touch with authorities here at Jackson Memorial Hospital to work out the details on that flight, but at this point, it's not clear when that will happen or how much it will cost. In Miami, Larry Seward, CBS News, Miami.
So as you can see, that's a really unfortunate situation, and me personally, I can't imagine getting stuck in a hospital like that out the country and trying to get enough money to get back home. That's just a really scary feeling. So that's why I want to talk to you guys today, the importance of traveler's insurance. And as you heard in the video, the man did have health insurance, but his health insurance didn't cover international or overseas expenses. So that's where traveler's insurance comes into play. So what exactly is traveler's insurance? I know a lot of people know what health insurance is, but traveler's insurance is basically coverage for any unexpected emergencies when you're overseas on vacation. So I'm going to be completely honest with you. When I was younger, I really used to be one of those people that did not believe in traveler's insurance. I kind of felt like it was a waste of money, and it was just extra expenses that I really didn't need. And thank goodness I haven't had like a crazy situation overseas. It wasn't until I got a little bit older and I started traveling a lot more where I realized like, hey, like stuff does happen. And just like with car insurance, okay, like accidents, things happen, and you definitely want to have that coverage. So I'm going to share with you the website that I use, and no, this is not a sponsored video. I'm just passing knowledge, okay? All right, so I'm going to insert a screenshot from one of my most recent trips. I'm going to show you a list of things that are covered. So baggage coverage, baggage delay, emergency evacuation, misconnection, non-flight accidental death, travel medical assistance, travel medical expenses, trip cancellations, trip delay, trip interruption, and worldwide travel assistance. And if you pause this video and look to the right, you'll see how much coverage you get for each category. All right, so the next question you're probably wondering is how much does this actually cost? So I think for when I took my mom to Morocco earlier this year, I think for the two of us, it was only like $112 out of pocket. For a single traveler, I just typed in a sample trip. So for an example, I typed in if I wanted to go to Brazil for 1 week. There are 3 different tiers you can select from, and depending on which tier you use, will determine how much coverage you get for each category. You have the essential package or the standard package starting off at $36. And then you have the preferred package, which is $65. That's the one I used for the trip I went on with my mom. And then you have the deluxe package, which is $89 per traveler. So this is just a sample. So the numbers can vary depending on like where you're traveling to and, you know, how much your trip costs. But I just kind of want to give you an idea of how much I paid. So like I told you, for 2 people, I only paid $112. So, you know, I feel like it's worth it. I know for some people, y'all might think like, oh, that's a little bit much, or, you know, that's just extra money that I could be putting towards my trip. But guys, y'all got to understand that, like, if you were to go to a hospital, okay, those medical expenses can add up. And something else that you might want to take into consideration, if you don't have insurance, you could end up in like one of the worst hospitals, especially in like some of those developing countries or third world countries. I know, for example, and 2 videos ago, I talked to you about that guy. He brought 2 Venezuelan girls over to his house in Colombia and they stabbed him. But he didn't have insurance, so they put him in the worst hospital in Colombia, and he was stuck over there for 4 months until he can get discharged. So that's what I'm saying. Like, having some type of insurance is not a bad idea, because you just never know what could happen, man. You can get in a car wreck on your way to the airport. You can get hurt during an excursion. I know, like, with my cousin, when she went to Jamaica, okay, she hurt her eyeball. Like, her eyeball got scratched. And so because she did have traveler's insurance, they were able to cover those medical expenses. And I don't know about y'all, but hospital bills, man, like, them things can be thousands upon thousands and thousands of dollars. Like, even just a couple of weeks back, the guy who got murdered in Colombia, he got robbed, his chain snatched. The family, they were trying to raise money to get his body back over to the United States because he did not have traveler's insurance. So when you think like, oh, this might be a little bit extra to be paying traveler's insurance, if you really think about it, it could save you a lot of money, especially if you do have an emergency. And because life is so unexpected, like I told you earlier in this video, thank goodness I never had anything major or catastrophic to happen to me overseas. And I don't take that for granted at all. Okay, but you know, I be thinking about these things, especially like when I be going off and doing crazy stuff. Like when I was younger, I would swim with sharks and just do all these crazy things, and it's just like, man, like, I'm lucky nothing bad has happened to me. So I just want people to know this information. No, you don't have to get traveler's insurance. Do I think it's a good idea? Absolutely, okay? You know, I'd rather pay $50 or $60 now than having to pay $20,000 worth of medical expenses. I know some health insurances in America, they will actually reimburse you for things like this, such as like medical flights, like getting your body back to the United States if you get injured, but they can't reimburse you for something that you haven't paid for. So that's why it's important to get traveler's insurance. And like I mentioned before, the name of that website is travelguard.com, and I'll put that in the description box. All right, guys, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.